I want to start by just simply saying, if you're an adult, you do you. All right? Don't mess with the kids. And then once you're an adult, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you identify as. Don't get upset if someone misgenders you, though, because of the way biology works, okay? And you're never going to get everyone to not look at you like you're crazy sometimes. It's going to happen, all right? But one thing that is true, now we've proven it, something that I've always thought and suggested to be the truth, is that trans women, which are men that now transition to women, have an advantage in sports. Oh, wow. I mean, is anyone surprised? No, we've all been saying this for so long. Look, if you were a man once and now you identify as a woman, you have advantages over biological females, which exist. This might piss a lot of people off. I don't care. There's so many people out there that get so triggered about this kind of stuff. Sports should create universal categories because transgender women do have an advantage over female athletes, major study says. Yep. There it is. And this first line, I agree with wholeheartedly. It should be universal. Universal. Or a trans, I don't know, section so they can compete. But yeah, you're taking women's spaces away from women. Biological women. Yep, I said it. I'll say it again. Anyway, let's read this. Transgender athletes have an unfair advantage in female sports, and a new universal category should be introduced for them. The report from the Sports Council's Equality Group concluded that trans women have an advantage in some sports, even when testosterone levels have been reduced. To protect female sport, while also ensuring transgender participation, the report suggests that new universal or open categories are introduced for trans athletes. Currently, under International Olympic Committee guidelines, transgender athletes can compete in elite sports as a woman, provided their testosterone levels are below 10 nanomoles per liter for at least 12 months before the first competition. However, the new review from the Sports Council's Equality Group also includes UK Sports, Sports England, Sports Wales, Sport Scotland, and Sport Northern Ireland ruled that testosterone suppression does not take away the physical advantages of trans women in female sport. Okay. It's these moments where I can't help but just say, duh. I'm sorry, duh. If I suddenly said, you know what, I'm not saying that I will, or I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, okay? Just for an example, if I were to suddenly say, you know what, I think I've always been a woman my whole life and took testosterone blockers, I'm not going to lose my shoulders. I'm not going to lose my basic physique of what I am, physically, right? It doesn't happen. Sure, there are changes that happen, but for the most part, I mean, are my shoulders going to shrink? My broad shoulders? My big hands? I mean, I got big, huge, like, manly mitt hands. Like, I get them from my dad, right? I got, just, that's why I'm so good at smashing the like button, because of these mitts of mine. It's not going to change. Anyway, because of this, it's said that it is impossible to guarantee safety and competitive fairness in some sports. Thank you. Duh. You know what? I gotta go to another article. I brought this up because I was remembering. I'm like, man, this is insane. And I talked about this when it happened. Transgender fighter who broke woman's skull in MMA ring has now been called the bravest athlete in history. They called this person the bravest athlete for coming out as a woman and breaking a biological woman's skull. Come on. Now suddenly we're supposed to, like, they're telling us something we already knew. Duh. Hello. It's crazy. It even suggested that some sports could come up with new formats, such as non-contact versions of team sports that can be played safely and fairly by everyone. The review comes after New Zealand team selected the transgender athlete Laurel Hubbard to compete in the 87-plus kilogram weightlifting category in the Tokyo Olympics. Hubbard was the first transgender athlete to compete at an Olympics, and she previously took part in men's competition before transitioning in 2013. Thank you for mentioning that, because it turns out he wasn't that good. He was a he at that time, whatever, okay? It's a dude. And this is what I say. Look, if you still got man parts down there, you're just, I'm sorry, you're just in drag. That's how I feel. That's just the way I feel, okay? If you say you're a woman and you want to be called a woman, fully commit. Fully commit. Laurel Hubbard, I don't know if you did or not, okay? But when you were competing as a man in the men's side of that competition, you weren't very good. That's what I've been told. That's what I've seen. Okay, so then suddenly you identified as a woman and broke world records. Well, she was eliminated without recording a successful lift, though her participation was criticized by other athletes. Rightly so. The long-awaited document reviewed the latest research, is based on interviews with 300 people, 175 organizations, and took 18 months to compile. Long-term evidence indicates that males have numerous physical advantages in sport compared with females, and this is recognized in law, the Sports Councils state. Current research indicates that testosterone suppression does not negate this physical advantage over females, and so cannot guarantee competitive fairness and or safety. And I got to bring it back up again. This Fallon Fox, I mean, it straight up looks like a man beat up a woman. And she even said, this woman was interviewed later on. She's like, I'm a professional. I'm a bad, I can't say, I'm trying not to swear, but, she said, she's like, I'm tough. I'm a tough woman. All right. I can handle myself. I have never, ever in my life of MMA felt that kind of power. Right. Because you were fighting a man. It was a dude. And they call it the bravest athlete in history. No, it was a man beating on a woman. Let's call it what it is. All right? There's long-term studies on this. I know. Someone said they needed research. Clearly people need research for this, even though it's a duh. Like, hello, really? Come on. Stupid. The documents released today add the guidance provides content and a framework on which sports can make decisions and sets out some of the options a sport might consider, from prioritizing transgender inclusion or protecting the female category, and to additionally introduce universal admission. See, like, this is what they're focused on, and I like it. Look, as I said at the very beginning, if you're an adult and this is you're transgender, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. You do you, okay? I have my own thoughts on it, but look, I don't care what you do, as long as it doesn't affect me or you're making policies that affect children who can't actually make these decisions that might alter their lives forever. You should be an adult to make these kind of decisions. And also, you shouldn't take away women's spaces. Like, women should be pissed. This is an anti-women movement. This whole transgender in sports thing. It's really ruining everything that women have fought for. I mean, I believe that. Feminists should be pissed. But the way that they're going about this, they're saying we should include transgender people. And I agree. Sure. So make them their own version of the sport that they can compete in, whether or not that's successful or people will actually want to watch it over, watch the NBA versus the WNBA. Not know how many people actually watch the NBA even still. Although over the past week, we've seen a lot of amazing patriots standing up for what is right to be an actual American, which is really, really awesome. Looking at a couple of the big, huge they're not anti-vax. They're outspoken about anti-mandates, essentially, about being American, and it's great to see. So I like the way that they're doing this. They're not attacking anyone. They're just simply saying, here's the science, the actual science, and it shows trans women have an advantage, so we should do something about that because it's not really fair. We can't actually make sure that the women that are competing, biological women, are safe and protected. Look at that Fallon Fox. I mean, it was a rather graphic picture, and I'm sorry for not warning you guys, actually. How is Fallon Fox the bravest athlete in history when it turns out that he had a significant advantage? Significant. Because still got that bro like raw. Okay, I'm done with it. I'm done.